Hey guys, this is North back again with another video. Today's video, I'm going to give you my top 10 designers from within my collection. Now, mostly on this channel, I've talked a lot about niche, and I give you my top 10 list or top 5 list. But today I wanted to give you my top 10 list of designers that I have in my collection. As far as designers go, I do own a lot of designer fragrances, but the majority of them happen to be either from the Privé line or they are discontinued fragrances. So this list will not contain either of those. I may have one or two fragrances on the list where this particular batch or this particular formulation is discontinued, but the fragrance itself is not discontinued. So let's go ahead and get it going. Number 10 on my list is from the house of Van Cleef and Arpels, and this one is called Bois Doré. I believe I own one other from this house, but this one I had to get. I remember watching some best Tonka bean videos, and this was on there, so I tracked it down and I was able to get my hands on it for a decent price. Bois Doré is considered an amber woody fragrance. It was released in 2017, and some of the notes on it are black pepper, mineral notes, vanilla, almond, cedar, tonka bean, and tweak wood. Now this is a dry, woody, semi-sweet tonka bean fragrance. I do enjoy this one. I do enjoy this one a lot. That's why I have this on the list. Like I say, I don't have a lot of designers that are not in Privé and are not on the discontinued list, but I do have more than 10. So this is definitely in my top 10 of one of my favorite designers that I have in my house. So number 10 is Bois Doré from Van Cleef and Arpels. All right, moving along. So on the list of 10, I have 4 fragrances that are of course from Dior, and they are perfumed by Francois Demachy. So I have 4 out of 10 of them on here. So anything by Dior, it'll be by that perfumer. I don't usually talk a lot about perfumers, but I'll mention him and I'll mention one other in this video. So coming in number 9, my 9th favorite designer from my collection is Sauvage Parfum. Now this is the one that I wanted to mention. This is the 2012 batch. That's why it has the black label. It is not discontinued. The new formulation does have a silver label. Now this is considered a citrus aromatic. This one again was released in 2012. This one has bergamot, citron, petitgrain, vetiver, hedione, myrrh, patchouli, and oak moss. Now the difference between this one and the new formulation is the removal of myrrh. There isn't myrrh in the newer one. It's a little bit more citrus heavy, but I love this fragrance. It's dark, but it's also like uplifting. Like it gives you a dark little bit with the myrrh, but then it's also uplifting with all the citrus and a little bit of the oak moss. I love this one. I didn't want to rate it so low, but again, this is my top 10. Again, I have some other ones that just didn't make the list at all, but this one definitely had to make the list. Number 9, Sauvage Parfum from Dior. Number 8 on my list, we're going again back to the house of Dior, and this is Dior Homme Cologne. Now this one originally was discontinued. It was released in 2013, but this year they did release a 2022 batch. I did try it in Sephora. I didn't really detect any difference, if at all. This is another citrus aromatic fragrance. This one has bergamot, grapefruit, blossom, and musk. To me, this is like, right now, it's my favorite summer citrus scent. It hits all those notes. I mean, I love citrus scents. I love bergamot and I love mandarin, but there's something just very one of a kind about this, very unique compared to other ones. I just like this a lot. I wish that I could get maybe like a 200 ml bottle, because I think if I start wearing this, I'll go through it pretty quickly, but at least it's not discontinued. So number 8, Dior Homme Cologne. Number 7 on my list comes from the house of Yves Saint Laurent, which is a house I don't own many from. I maybe own like 3 from the house, and this one is Body Kouros. This one I believe is like a sleeper hit. I really enjoyed this scent. I found out about this one looking up like benzoin fragrances, and this was on, I believe, the Perfume Guys, one of his more recent benzoin lists. I hadn't really heard about it, and if I did, I really didn't want to look into it because everybody kind of knows about what Kouros is about, but this is nothing like Kouros at all. The original, this one is considered an amber spicy fragrance. It was released in 2000. It has eucalyptus, incense, cedar, clary sage, and benzoin, which is why I love it so much. So this is like a semi-sweet, almost medicinal type of scent with the eucalyptus. It's a type of scent that's very hard to describe, but to me it's kind of comforting, but it's not cozy in the sense of other warm amber spicy scents. This one is one you need to get your nose on. It's not discontinued, but it's something that is just completely slept on because it has, I think because it has that Kouros name. And a lot of people, either you love Kouros or you don't, but this has nothing to do with the original. So definitely, if you can get your nose on this, definitely check this one out. So number 7, Body Kouros from Yves Saint Laurent. Coming in number 6, we're back to the house of Dior, and we have Dior Homme Parfum. Now, I haven't owned a lot of Dior's. I believe I had one of the original ones sometime when I very first started collecting fragrances. Other than that, I really hadn't been checking them out much, but I knew I had to pick up on this one. Living in the Middle East, you are privy to get some fragrances that are excluded from the United States. So some things that they would say are only available in Europe, you can find here. So Dior Homme Parfum, you can find pretty easily here. There's a couple other ones that are like European exclusives or ones that aren't available in the US that I can get here. But this is the one that comes to mind. I do enjoy this scent. It is not in the top 5. It's number 6. Dior Homme Parfum was released in 2014. This one has, of course, Tuscan iris, orange, leather, rose, sandalwood, musk, mallow, oud, and cedar. Now, either it was this perfume or it was the Privé Bois the Ardent that kind of got me into iris fragrances. I do enjoy iris fragrances. I don't want to like overdo, so I don't like get a bunch of them like I have incense and different ambery resinous type scents, but I do love iris. This has that famous lipsticky handbag sort of smell that I personally don't have any connection to, but I get what they're getting, what they're coming from with it. So this one comes in at number 6, Dior Homme Parfum from Dior. Now we're breaking into the top 5. Number 5, I have from the house of Chanel. I have Chanel number 5, Eau Premiere. Now, when I picked this one up, I originally, of course, wanted Chanel number 22, which I do have, and that's in the private line. That's why that's not on here. But when I smelled this one, I definitely fell in love with it because I just really didn't know much about aldehydes, but I love like that effervescent type of smell, almost like, you know, bubbly, sparkly, like soda. I just love drinking like sparkling drinks. So that type of feeling in a scent really draws me to it. So Chanel number 5 Eau Premiere, this one was released in 2015. This one is called a floral aldehyde. This one of course has aldehydes, Ylang-Ylang, neroli, rose, vanilla, sandalwood, and jasmine. As you see this bottle right here, this is a tester bottle, so it tells you on the back, floral aldehydic. And this one is just a scent I believe you can wear all year round. It's definitely not exactly like the original Chanel number 5. I believe that one might have a little bit more like animalic type of like twist to it that some people don't really enjoy. This one removes all of that, and then you're just left with this like great scent. I believe I'm going to be wearing this a lot during the summer months and the spring months, but I believe it could be worn all year round. So coming in number 5, Chanel number 5 Eau Premiere. Number 4 on the list is another house that I don't own many from, and this is from the house of Comme des Garçons, and this is Incense Avignon from the Incense series. This of course is known to have kicked off the like incense fragrance craze. This one was released in 2002. This one was perfumed by Bertrand Duchefort. Hope I pronounced that close enough. Which is the same perfumer that did Chypre Palatin, which is one of my all-time favorite fragrances. So I had to mention that. Now before I get to the notes, this one was released in 2002, so it's 20 years old. It's supposed to have started this craze. There are actually four in this line. This is the only one that I own from the line. I have had the opportunity to try 3, including this one, so 2 other ones, Kyoto. And I would love to have them in my collection. I just don't want to pay retail for it. I did order this from Selfridges, so I had to pay like shipping because I just felt like I had to have it in my collection. This was when I very first got into incense fragrances. This is like a quintessential, like, quote unquote churchy incense type of scent. I do enjoy it. The notes in it are several types of incense: chamomile, vanilla, patchouli, rosewood, and ambrette seeds. So this one definitely is top 5 on my list. It's one of the quintessential, again, incense fragrances from that particular genre. It's a trailblazer in that sort of in that genre of perfume, so I had to put it up there. So number 4 is Comme des Garçons Avignon. Moving on. Number 3 on my list is from the house of Guerlain. This is one of my most recent pickups, but again, it was like a love at first sniff. I just was in one of the perfume shops that I normally don't buy anything from, but I just go in shops just to see what I can find, and this happened to actually be the last one. And this one is called Chance d'Aromas. This is the B bottle. This one is not discontinued. They do not make them in this B bottle anymore. They will come in the same bottles, the newer bottles that like Mitsuko comes in. So they moved it out of this, so it isn't discontinued. But I love this one, of course, because this is considered a cheaper floral. So I'm totally in love with sheepers, especially cheaper fruities and cheaper florals. So this is a cheaper floral. This one was released in 1962. This one has aldehyde, citrus, plum, honeysuckle, jasmine, ylang-ylang, heliotrope, sandalwood, olibanum, benzoin, and vanilla. This is it's when I smelt it, I walked away like whatever, and then I was smelling my arm, and it was smelling familiar. And I couldn't place it, and the familiarness of it that drew me to it was that chypre sort of smell, Yeah, I just love this scent. This is another scent that's sort of like Chanel 5 Eau Premiere. They don't smell similar, but they're like have the aldehydes in it, so they're like effervescent. They're light. They could be worn year round, but especially you could get away with it in the spring and the summer. It's not too heavy, so I'd really enjoy this scent. It definitely shot up for me. I did put it at number 3. It's good enough to definitely be top 5. So again, this is from the house of Guerlain, Chance d'Aromas. All right, the top 2. Now, of course, when we make these lists, they can always change. So here's number 2 on my list. It's from another one from the house of Guerlain. So 2 in the top 3. This one is Mitsuko. This is Eau de Parfum. And when I was going to do this list, and I knew Mitsuko was going to be on here regardless, I forgot to bring my 7.5 ml Parfum version. So that's how much I love this DNA. I do love cheaper fruities. This one was released in 1919. This is considered to be, I guess, the second cheaper in history. Notes in this one are citrus, bergamot, peach, ylang-ylang, jasmine, rose, oak moss, and vetiver. This is just a fragrance DNA that is like copied over and over and over again with the different like Rosias and Royal Perfumery and all these places that want to try to capture the original or the vintage style of a cheaper fragrance. And so I enjoy this one a lot. I put this at number 2 because I do really enjoy the DNA. I do still enjoy the scent so much that I spent a pretty penny on getting that little bitty 7.5 ml. I couldn't afford the 30 ml. If I come across like vintage bottles or something like that for a decent price, I'd probably pick them up. All right, coming in number 2, Mitsuko from Guerlain. All right, my number 1 designer fragrance in my collection from the regular lines. This one I am not feeling at the moment. I think it's just because it's just warm outside, but I'm still gonna put it at number 1 for nostalgic purposes. And this is Fahrenheit Le Parfum from the house of Dior. This one is considered an amber spicy. It was released in 2014. This one has suede, licorice, mandarin, violet leaf, coriander, and bourbon vanilla. Now this one, I'm not 100% sure if it's not sold, if this is another one that's only sold in Europe, or if it's available in the US. But I wanted to pick this up because Fahrenheit is one of the very first fragrances that wasn't just like, you know, a mass appealing type of fragrance that I liked as a, you know, as a kid, as, you know, being in high school, being like a freshman or a sophomore. So Fahrenheit will always hold like a special place in my heart, because it was one of the first like really different and unique type of scents that I enjoyed and I felt was masculine. So what I like about Dior Le Parfum is that for me, it brings back those memories from originally smelling the original Fahrenheit, and with a little bit of update to it. I don't actually own a original bottle. I haven't repurchased it. I don't think that I will. I believe that this one fits the bill. I do own 3 other flankers of Fahrenheit, so I think that's fine. I don't really need to spend another $100 just to have the original. I feel like this one fills that void for me, and it gives me that sense of wearing Fahrenheit from back in the day. So that's my number 1, Fahrenheit Dior Le Parfum. I'll have to return back to it in the winter time to see if I still love it. Right now I'm not feeling it because I'm in the mood to smell lighter scents like florals and citruses and things like that. But I still had to put it at number 1 because, you know, it definitely holds a special place in my heart. So that's my top 10 designer fragrances for my collection. What are some of your favorite designers that are not discontinued and that are not part of the Privé line? Maybe one day I will do like a top 10 Privé line collection of designers, but I wanted to do this because these are on the more affordable side. These are still available to purchase. So I do appreciate your time, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.